Coming up on the Tomahawk Talk, the Bourne Braves fell to the Brewster Whitecaps yesterday 10-7, but there's a chance of redemption here at Dorn Park today against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. They play them for the second time this season. We get an interview with field manager Scott Landers. I get to talk to Bourne Braves beat reporter Nate Laird, and we got a special interview with catcher Bryce Eastep. It's the Tomahawk Talk, and it starts right now.
Left field, back on it, the left fielder approaches. It drops before the wall. Cooney scores. Sips it from third, around, touches home, and the Bourne Braves have the lead.
Welcome into the Tomahawk Talk as the Bourne Braves are set to play the Hyannis Harbor Hawks later today. I'm Cadence Kilhoff alongside Devin Jarvis and Casey Kasliter. Guys, but that game last night, the Bravos had it going well until the seventh inning where everything kind of just fell for them.
Yeah, it was that seventh inning that was the real detriment for the Bourne Braves overall. What was shaping up to be a really solid game on both sides of the ball completely fell apart. 9 runs in one inning completely destroyed this team. And you overall look back at it, it was just an unfortunate one. Connor Lehman comes into the game, Adam Buchkowski follows him, and they just don't have their stuff. Both of these pitchers has shown good stuff leading into their appearances, but they didn't have that yesterday. And Bourne overall struggled with the infield defense, struggled with overall allowing too many hits. And for a relief pitching staff that had been extremely solid so far this season, if you look at the bulk of games, Bourne was giving up most of the runs by their starters. Their relievers had been amazing, and that just flips yesterday. A Brewster team that 2 days ago came back down 7 runs against the Chatham Anglers, and then yesterday you see that in similar fashion against the Bourne Braves. They counted them out too early, and they paid the price for it.
It's highly unfortunate because the pitching staff didn't give up many free passes in that seventh inning in which it gave up 9 runs. Just one hit by pitch, a few walks that turned the tide in this game, but it was a lot of hard hit balls to the outfield, a couple of extra base hits, no home runs. And now you look at this stretch for the Braves, which has been the toughest stretch of the season. Bourne has lost 3 of its last 4. You head into a game today where you have a chance to raise the spirits. It's a new month. It's a chance to turn a new leaf. You're in July now, and you're playing a team in Hyannis that you've already beaten already. But at the same time, you'd like to get that early momentum and carry it the rest of the way, especially knowing in yesterday's game with the darkness and no lights at Stony Brook Field, you're playing against the clock. So it was basically a kind of a walk-off scenario for Brewster in that inning when it was too late for the Braves to come back the next half inning.
A rough outing for the Bravos in that 7th inning there, but let's take a look at yesterday and see what really went down. It was a pitcher's duel until the 5th when the ball deflects off of Garrett Michelle, giving the runner in scoring position time to get on the board for the Whitecaps. But the very next inning, Luke Costello responds. He scores Trent Carraway and advances Matt Bolton to third base to tie things up for the Bravos. A walk from Garrett Michelle loads the bases with no outs in the top of the 6th inning, and one more walk from Bryce Eastep, and that pushes Matt Bolton in and gives the Bravos their first lead of the game 2-1. And both teams scoreless until the 7th inning when Luke Costello doubles for his second hit of the day. He had 3 on the day, and Blake Schaff makes it to home while Bolton gets to third and then reaches home later on after a Cal Sepsic single. The Braves up 4 going into the 7th inning. But just like the Whitecaps came back the night before, they did it again. The bases stay loaded, and after that it's hit after hit after hit, and Matt Bolton trying to get there each time, but Brewster finds the gap 5 times in this inning, and the Whitecaps score 9 runs by the end of the game. Costello tries to start the comeback with a single to center field of his own to score 2 more, but the game is shut due to darkness, and the Whitecaps defeat the Braves for the 3rd time this season, 10-7. And offensively, as usual, Bourne fought in the later innings, and it still had 10 hits on the day, but the defense was the biggest struggle, and more specifically, this pitching staff that we've seen do well all season long. This was just one rough inning from them yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a consistent pitching staff, like you said, this entire season, and you're going to give up big innings. The Braves had not really given up a ton of big innings this season, maybe some of 3 or 4 runs, but 9 is just too many. And again, this is a staff that we've talked about being really consistent in trading off pitchers. When a guy comes out, usually a guy is there to pick him up. We just didn't see that a whole lot yesterday, and I think I'm confident today that the Braves, knowing that they have a full bullpen available, they have guys that are going to, again, need to bounce back, be ready for today against Hyannis.
I mean, it's just one bad inning for this pitching staff. You remove it and things look completely different. The one run that Will Whalen allowed earlier in the game, it was not an earned run, and Bourne consistently has been showing out with really good performances from their pitching staff. you got to just forget about this one. At the end of the day, it might have been a little bit of an anomaly. You learn from it. You understand the mistakes that you have to avoid going forward. But it definitely was one that stung for Bourne, and they had a good effort in the top of the 8th to try and come back, 3 runs short when it was all said and done. But I know we talked a lot of negative about this game. Again, there's still some positives to take away. Of course, only 1 run that didn't exist in that 7th inning. On top of that, you had good performances from Luke Costello as well as Cal Sefcik once again. The entire lineup found solid production. It wasn't like it just came from 1 or 2 players, despite Sefcik and Costello being the stars.
And you have double-digit hits in back-to-back games, which would have been kind of unheard of for the Braves this past week before
100%.
These past couple of games. It's huge to kind of keep them going. And again, once the hits start coming, they don't stop. That's one thing in baseball. It's the ketchup bottle effect, as they say. You hit it a couple times and it all starts to spew out. And that's what we saw from the Braves the past couple of games.
And that's the thing with this offense. We've talked about it all season long with their struggle to hit with runners in scoring position. But yesterday they were doing that just fine, as well as running the base paths. Rustin Rigdon got picked off earlier in the game, but after that, the Bravos seemed pretty steady from there.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think you have some offense to be desired in those first 5 innings where Bourne brought a runner into the base paths every single time and did not score one of them. Then they finally turned it on in the 6th, 7th, and 8th. It is short, right? You don't get the 10 runs that Brewster had, and maybe if you do have a little bit more production in those first 5 innings, things look different. I do think the base running was definitely a bad part of yesterday's game for the Bourne Braves as well. Multiple times caught stealing. Bryce Estep gets the single into left field and thrown out at second base before he can secure a spot on first. It's a tough one, right? You have those struggles. You have certain mistakes where if one thing goes the other way, maybe things don't turn out the way they did. But overall, the positives definitely were there, especially offensively with the bat specifically. A team that has been getting going recently off 2 straight wins now are the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. 2 consecutive wins, including yesterday over the Katuitt Kettleers. Let's send it to McKeon Park to check out the highlights. America's 250th birthday is in just 3 days, but the fireworks came early in Hyannis last night. Matt Einish rockets one over the right field wall and gone to open the scoring for the Harbor Hawks. 1-0 Hyannis after 1. When I say the fireworks came early, I didn't mean just once. Jordan Lodis in the bottom of the 3rd cracks his 3rd long ball of the season to bring Hyannis up 3-0. Let's keep it going. Trey Hosse's turn, and Hyannis must have switched out their lumber for bazooka bats because, my goodness, 3rd home run of the game, and we're only in the 4th. Hosse gets his first on the season to put the Hawks up 4-0. Katuitt, though, they took some notes from Hyannis' first 4 innings and gave a bit of their own medicine back to him. Jesse DiMaggio sends a solo shot out of McKeon Park to cut the deficit to 3. Trey Hosse hit one more gone to make it 5-1 Hyannis, and into the 9th we go. Jesse DiMaggio ropes one with 2 outs to keep the Cats in it. Scores 2 in Hunter Warren and Ryan Taransky, but Katuitt falls shortly thereafter, and it's a 5-3 final in favor of the Harbor Hawks when things are all said and done. 3 RBI and a home run for DiMaggio, but on the other side, multiple home runs for Hosse, a fantastic game from him. Lodis as well with another one. This is what Hyannis has been showing these past couple games, a lot better these past 2, and it looks like a new team from where they were at the bottom of the West, to start the year.
Yeah, they've won back-to-back games for the first time all year, and again, it's good to see the offense get 5 runs yesterday if you're a Harbor Hawks fan. I know that's not a huge number, but this is an offense that has mightily struggled this season. The Harbor Hawks are one of just a couple teams in the Cape Cod Baseball League that haven't put up double-digit runs in a game this season. They had 7 their first game, and they haven't put up 7 since opening day. So it's a tough stretch for the Harbor Hawks. But again, good to see back-to-back wins. They've kind of had Katuitt's number this season. You'll take points as they come to end out a month.
You guys said it's been a rough start of the season for the Harbor Hawks, but the past 2 teams that they've beaten are arguably some of the best in the CCBL, the Falmouth Commodores and the Katuitt Kettleers.
Yeah, especially in the West. And, you see a tough matchup today against the Harbor Hawks, and Bourne probably their toughest opponent of those 2, now 3, including Bourne that you just mentioned. It's going to be a really interesting one. Bourne right now undefeated against the West Division, 2-0-2 overall. They've been solid at home, looking to try and keep this momentum against the West going. Bourne's been getting beaten up by the East Division, but they still are solid against the West. And, if you keep this up, if you are undefeated against the West, when things are all said and done in August, you're likely the number 1 team in the division. Bourne just has to keep doing what they're doing. They pummeled Hyannis in their last game, arguably the best game Bourne played all season, was at McKeon Park just a few weeks ago, and they've got to look for something like that again.
It's almost game time between the Bourne Braves and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks for the 2nd time this season. But coming up after the break, we'll speak with field manager Scott Landers, Bourne Braves beat reporter Nate Laird, and I get a special interview with catcher Bryce Estep. We'll be right back.
Life can be full of surprises, but Eastern Propane and Oil is always just a call away. With a local team member available 24/7, we're always ready to support you when you need it. With an Eastern Propane and Oil technician on the way, your family's comfort is our priority. Our local team, over 500 strong, ensures your home is comfortable and warm. Eastern Propane and Oil, a local team with 24/7 service and delivery, ensuring comfort when you need it most.
Clap again.
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
It's the first day of July at Jordan Park as the Bourne Braves host the Hyannis Harbor Hawks here on this beautiful day. Casey Kastner joined alongside Pregame and Scott Landers. And yesterday it was that bottom of the 7th inning that was ultimately the difference. You guys gave up 9 runs. What went wrong and what needs to get done?
Just about everything. When you give up a 9 spot, there's not much that's right. But, they had a couple of hit balls. We didn't make some plays, and they got some time.
On the bright side, the past 2 games, the offense has generated double-digit hits. What have you seen improve in terms of approach there? It feels like everyone's been better.
Yeah, I just think fastball's better. Place is the quality. And that usually comes as but I like the spot.
Yesterday, Will Whelan on the mound gives you 5 strong innings. You had him last year as an all-star reliever. This year, he's making a case to be an all-star starter with an ERA under 1. What strides has he taken under your leadership these past 2 years?
He's very coachable, but we put him in a starter. He's been a reliever his whole college career, and for draft purposes, they want starters. Try to get him into a starting role, see if he feels well. If the draft doesn't work out, then hopefully for next year.
You talked about the offense a little bit. Luke Costello has gotten on base 4 times in each of the last 2 games. What have you seen improve from his approach?
Simplified everything, and just the more he is not trying to do too much.
Tomorrow is the annual Fenway Day. How big is that for some of these guys in the big league experience as well as players?
It's good. A lot of these guys come from across the country and never really experienced basketball in that way, so it'll be a fun time.
Thank you so much again. First pitch between the Braves and the Harbor Hawks at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Skip.
Good luck with it. Thanks.
Thank you to Casey and Scott Landers. I'm now joined by Bourne Braves beat reporter Nate Laird. Nate, a returning arm on the mound today for the Bourne Braves. Who is it?
That's right. Noah Scott making his 2nd start of the year for the Braves. The righty out of Oregon State in his first start of the season last week against Catuit. Gave up 3 earned runs over 5 innings. Was in line for the loss in that one, but Blake Schaff saved him with a walk-off single for their win.
And all day long, we've seen Noah Scott rolling out and icing, getting ready for this game. But who's on the bump for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks?
Well, Brady St. Pierre, the righty out of southeastern Louisiana, a pretty small school, D1 school there, making his 3rd start of the year for the Harbor Hawks. Over at Southeast Louisiana, he had a 4.58 ERA over 2 seasons. So far this year for the Harbor Hawks, he's been their best starter. A 2.53 ERA over 7 2/3 innings this season.
All right, Nate, well, we talked about our starting pitchers, but you got any other players to watch for today's game?
Yeah, Luke Costello, even with the loss yesterday, he stood out for the Braves offense. Totaled 3 hits in the game. All came with runners in scoring position. He ended up with 4 RBIs on the game. He's got 12 leading the Braves this season, runs batted in. And so far, he's been one of the Braves' best hitters. He was off to a slow start, but has the 3rd highest batting average among qualified hitters.
And we talked about his younger brother, Andrew Costello, a few days back, so I'm sensing a theme here between the brothers. But now coming up, I got to talk with another fellow Gamecock, so stay tuned. Today I'm joined by catcher Bryce Eastet. Bryce, you're 2nd in the league in throwing runners out, and the guy ahead of you has played in just about double the innings that you have. So how are you finding so much success behind the plate?
Just trusting the process. I mean, I've been doing it all season, so I've worked hard to just put myself in a position where I don't really have to struggle or really worry about the things I've been doing.
And a big reason why you haven't been playing that many innings is because you got here late. So how did you adjust so fast to this league?
Again, just trusting my process. I played 33 games this season, so I'm a little bit worn out. So the 3 days of vacation was great.
Yesterday, Bourne gave up 9 runs in 1 inning. How do you guys stop that from happening today?
Just compete on the mound. Pitchers just have to trust themselves and trust their pitches and not try to do too much.
So Bryce, you just committed to South Carolina alongside a ton of other guys here with Bourne, like the Costello brothers and Garrett Michelle. What do you like about playing with them here on the Cape, and why are you excited to be a Gamecock with them?
They're wild. They bring a lot of energy to the field and a lot of energy to the team, and I think it's going to really show once we get in a locker room with each other. To be a Gamecock, it was my head coach that transferred over there, so it was kind of a no-brainer for me.
Awesome, Bryce. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Heading to Nantucket this summer? Skip the traffic and take to the skies with Cape Air. With convenient flights from Norwood to Nantucket, you can start your vacation sooner without the hassle of traffic. That way you spend more time relaxing and less time getting there. Experience the Cape Air difference and book your next flight today at capeair.com. Let Cape Air be your wings in the Northeast.
Welcome back into the post-game Tomahawk Talk. I'm Cadence Kilhoff alongside Devin Jarvis and Casey Kasliner. And guys, we talked about this a few days ago when the Bravos played the Orleans Firebirds after they were having a rough stretch. And the Orleans Firebirds isn't that great of a team in the CCBL, that they needed to use the Firebirds' weaknesses and put it into their strengths. How do they do that today against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks?
I think you just find the offense that you've been finding over these past couple games. You love the offense yesterday. Of course, the defense not great enough to allow you to get the win, but 7 runs is still 7 runs. And then on top of that, you had a solid game with 13 hits against the Orleans Firebirds the day before. This is a stretch right now against Hyannis and 2 games against Wareham that it could easily be 3 wins. I think we were going into this week talking about, hey, if you can win 3 of 4, including the game against Brewster, that feels pretty good. Bourne right now 3-6-2, 2-6-2 against their last 10 games. You got to find a little bit more momentum here. Bourne struggling right now, and if they find that win today, they can certainly carry it into a solid win the next day, rather after Fenway Day on Friday against Wareham, and overall just continue momentum that they're trying to build. Bourne last time pummeled Hyannis, as I mentioned. They followed that up with a win against Orleans. This is something that, again, they can try and turn into something, and I think it starts with the offense that's been getting better and better every single game.
Yeah, you have to take what's in your control first, and that mostly this season has been the pitching for the Braves. The pitching has been ahead of the hitting, and now we've seen the hitting pick itself up. So against a team that's weak offensively like Hyannis, you have to make sure that the pitching is going to be the forefront of a win like this if they can get it. And at the same time, on the offense, they have to take advantage of poor command on the other side. Hyannis had very poor command the first time these two teams played. The Braves did take advantage of walks, and it paid off. They got a win away from home. If you can get some walks today, go into the off day tomorrow, thinking about it a little bit, and come back in a 2-game stretch against Wareham, I think you're in a good spot.
And right now, this pitching staff for Hyannis tied 9th in the Cape Cod Baseball League in walks per game, overall 9th in ERA. It's not a fantastic staff, and you go against a solid pitcher today, as Nate was mentioning, in Brady St. Pierre, who has just a 2.35 ERA in his 3 appearances so far. You got to crack him. You got to do as good as you can to try and see that offense come through once again. But once you see that bullpen for Hyannis, which is kind of that magic thing in the Cape, you get past the starter and you're going to see a lot more success offensively typically, and they've got to do that against Brady St. Pierre today and try and get that offense going early.
Now it's time for the Bourne Braves to use the offense to their advantage, but it's almost game time between the Bravos and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Thanks for sticking with us on the pregame Tomahawk Talk. The next time you see us, these guys will be on the call and you'll catch me on the sidelines.
Heading to Nantucket this summer? Skip the traffic and take to the skies with Cape Air. With convenient flights from Norwood to Nantucket, you can start your vacation sooner without the hassle of traffic. That way you spend more time relaxing and less time getting there. Experience the Cape Air difference and book your next flight today at capeair.com. Let Cape Air be your wings in the Northeast.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group. Protecting the possible.
Try it, then buy it. Rent a new cat for up to 90 days. Then apply 100% of the rental cost to the purchase and save. The Milton Cat Rent to Purchase offer. Try it, then buy it. Go to miltoncat.com/RPO.